The other day, one of you asked me how do product managers work with project managers? And I'm going to answer this question on the way that companies or software companies work. So I'm not going to talk about how in other companies this is done, because this is going to be different. And not in all the companies there are product and project managers. So bear this in mind. In some cases, somebody else is going to take in the role of a project manager. Think, for example, some kind of Scrum Master. So one of the first things that comes into my mind is the prioritization and backlog of features. Usually here, what a product manager is going to do is focusing on understanding what the problem is, what the needs of the customers are, understand the size of the value, and from there start potentially building some kind of prioritized list of projects or features that they would like to be building. Based on that, building some kind of a backlog. Many times what the project manager might be doing in these cases is helping understanding what the effort is to create these features and understanding how to resource the teams, for example, to be able to go ahead and implement these features in the product. The next one is managing risks and issues. The product manager, when they are doing some kind of a business impact or understanding what is the business plan or the business case to build these new features or a new product, for example, they are going to be investigating what are the potential risks of building this product. The project manager is going to be focusing more on creating mitigation strategies and plans to be able to address these risks. And of course, they will also focus on trying to resolve issues that might be happening or occurring during the project implementation. The next one is communicating with the stakeholders. Here, usually the product manager is going to be communicating with the stakeholders, different ones. They can be even customers, they can be internal ones in the company, sales, they can be support, development teams even, and they're usually going to be acting as the voice of the customer and the market and communicating what the vision, the roadmap, the plans are to those stakeholders. The project manager usually is going to focus more on how the project is developing. When you're building a new feature, or when you're building a new version, what is the status of that version that you're building? How are the different features progressing? They are also going to be covering things like challenges and roadblocks. And finally, they are going to be focusing both of them in product delivery. The product manager, as you can imagine, is going to be very focused on bringing value to the customer based on those releases that the development teams are creating. And they're going to be running things like A/B testing or experimentations with different customers to make sure that those features that are being built are meeting the needs and the expectations are going to be part of a discovery process when they are being built. Basically, to as much as possible meet those customers' expectations. The product manager is going to be looking more into the actual process, release process. What are the different stages that we had to cover? Who do we have to communicate? What are the different practices that we have for go-to-market? How do we do testing? What type of testing? How do we communicate this with customers? Do we have a beta testing program? Whatnot. And as well, they are also going to look into the post-launch support and looking into the success potentially of the launch based on what was covered by the different features. So as you can see, the difference between a product and a project manager is that the product manager is looking more into what we want to build, what we are going to be building in the future, what problems we are addressing, what problems our customers have, how we are going to solve these problems, whereas the project manager is focusing more in how we are going to be building this into our products. Yes, you could argue that there are many similarities between a Scrum Master and a project manager. And yes, in many cases, many aspects of project management are going to be taken care of by a product manager. This is a very common practice. Most of the teams out there, they don't have a dedicated project manager as such, and they will have usually a Scrum Master and a product manager or product owner working together, basically covering all these different aspects. It depends a lot on the size of the company, on the processes in the company, on the size of the teams that the product managers or the project managers are working with. If a product manager is just working with a team of, let's say, 7 developers, typically they're going to do this together maybe with a Scrum Master. If the product manager is working with several teams and working in an organization that has quite many processes, especially when you think about go-to-market, sales enablement, training sales, customer support, preparing materials for promotion, preparing after launch events or different type of activities. This is going to get much more complex, which means that probably one product manager is going to have a lot of trouble to be able to manage this on their own. So if you have a question at any point, please write it in the comments. I would love to make a video about it and answer your question. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. YouTube is probably suggesting you a video here that probably will be interesting for you. So I would just go ahead and watch it. I will see you in the next one. And remember, stay safe.